Hello, everyone. I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster.
And this week in Toku, we're going to be discussing Kamen Rider's push towards the West, tons of Power Rangers toy news, and the next evolution of Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. But before we get into all that, Buster, how the heck are you doing?
Not well.
Oh, dear.
Well, one, today was a bit of a mess. And also, what else? There's another thing. Yeah, my I'm not really happy with how my videos are doing, but hey, slow burns and stuff.
Bad analytics or not happy with the actual product you're putting in?
I'm happy with the product. I just bad analytics that just getting me down.
That sucks. I hate looking at the YouTube studio and getting in a rut of just being like, why won't the number go up? Why won't the number go up?
Yeah, especially when it's like something you thought was gonna do really well.
Yeah, I try not to be too public with it, so I won't derail the whole podcast for this. But basically, that's been my channel for like the last 3 weeks because I knew this was going to happen too. When I made the hard swing back into toy reviewing, I was like, there's going to come a time when my subscribers are going to realize, oh, this is what this channel is now. And some of them are going to go, I just don't want to watch this, so I'm going to unsubscribe. So I've lost 8 subscribers in the last 3 weeks. Yeah. But I'm fine with it. Like I said, I knew it was going to happen, and eventually business will pick back up. I just got to keep hitting the algorithm in the same spot.
Yeah.
But busy week on both our sides. I'd go more heavily into mine, but hey, I did that all over this week's episode of Modular Components, so go listen to that when it comes out on Friday. But one thing I do want to plug real quick before we get into the news is that this week I dipped my toes back into the Power Rangers comics, the Boom Rangers comics. I actually quite liked it. I read Power Rangers Unlimited Edge of Darkness #1, which I won't talk too much about because I did a full review for it on this week's episode of Modular Media's No Prize podcast. So go listen to that. It's the discussion of Loki episode 5.
You mean episode 4?
I'm sorry?
Is it episode 4, I think? Because that's what the notification told
me. Let me double check real quick. Let me double check. Come on. Load, YouTube, load. Yes, it is episode 4. My mistake. Yeah. Yeah, I talked about Edge of Darkness #1 in there. I liked it a fair bit. The art was pretty solid. The story was very interesting. It was something different for Power Rangers, but not in a bad way, like the Margaret Scott run. It was basically Power Rangers meets The Mandalorian, and I enjoyed that immensely.
Interesting.
Because it's sorry.
From what I hear about the story, it is something I would not like.
What have you heard?
Basically, it's less Phantom Ranger focused and more Rita focused, and I feel like the comics have kind of overcomplicated Rita's backstory too much.
Saying it's Rita focused is kind of stretching it, in my opinion, because Rita is there. Rita's a little girl in this comic, but she is not the focus. It's Rita's mom and the Phantom Ranger who kind of shared a comic as dual main characters.
Oh, okay.
Because to give a massive spoiler, because it happens in the last 2 pages.
I think I got it now.
Yeah. If you know where the comics have been going with Rita's backstory, which I've kept somewhat apprised of, you probably know what happens in this comic. But basically, it's a big event in Rita's life, and I liked it. And I don't know. We'll see how I feel on Wednesday, but I may give the next issue of Power Rangers, or is it Mighty Morphin? That's the next thing that has a new issue coming out. I don't know. I'll see what gets uploaded on Wednesday to the comic website I frequent. We'll put it that way. But let's go ahead and get into the news. And the first thing we have is new images of Kamen Rider Revice have surfaced. There's been a few more since this article we're going to link to, but basically we've gotten a decent look at Revice due to some merchandise that has leaked out, including the toy for the driver. There are now blurry images of the toy for the driver that are floating around. Basically, the rider, the pink and blue rider that we saw on the Superhero Senki poster is Revice. He's going to have like a a kind of blank Imagine looking friend, and the driver is based around Etch-a-Sketch and ink stamps.
Yeah. I really hammering into Toei, we just throw everything at the dartboard and make something somehow cohesive out of it.
Yeah, because it's a dude who looks like Exade. He's using like old pre-video game toys as his gimmick, and he's dinosaur themed. Like it's completely crazy this season from the looks
I
of
love
it.
it. Like I really like his I'm not sure. I have been speculating that could be a possible cast off form for Revice. I don't think it will be. I think it's gonna be like a buddy because there's rumors that the Revice is actually two writers.
Ooh.
And like I've been his dinosaur buddy is actually my current profile pic, just of a few tweaks. Excuse me. Yeah, but they're really cool suits. I already like the suits shown in the Senki poster, and I'm getting a better look at them. They look even better.
Yeah, it looks like a really good suit. It's not exactly my kind of rider suit because I normally prefer a more not grounded, but like a toned down, stripped back kind of rider look. I'm not in the class of people that go super hard for neon colors, but I can appreciate it. I like the way the suit looks.
I mean, we're finally getting a rider for a while, like since it's the first rider in a while that we've gotten that's blue, so I'm happy because I wanted Revice to be blue in some way.
Yeah, I mean it is part of your old names.
Yeah.
But this does neon colors well, in my opinion. And while the driver looks very basic in design, I'm sure it's going to be pretty fun to mess around with. So I'm looking forward to seeing videos and stuff of it in action. And I'm looking forward to seeing this show. We're going to cover Revice on here, at least for the first few episodes. And right now it looks promising.
Yeah, actually, also, quick note, they also have the logo on these stickers. Really like how there's a 50 in the logo.
I hadn't noticed that. Holy shit.
Yeah, everyone's been noticing it, saying, oh, the 50, the 50.
Yeah, I was more so focused on the suit. I barely registered the logo, but yeah, that is really awesome.
Yeah, very Forza-esque anniversary way.
Here's hoping they play into the anniversary a little bit next year. But
apparently there was a rumor that what's it called? His gimmick would actually be Legend Rider focused. I don't think it will be, but
not unless it's going to be Legend Rider plus random dinosaur.
Yeah. Because like there was like a rumor that's Decade Shark or something. Yeah, their rumors often they're false. So
rumors are hit and miss when it comes to Toku, I find.
Yeah, like I remember there was this crazy build rumor where like the world ended and it got reborn. I mean,
the first Toku rumor I can remember really clearly is that the Kyoryugers were going to be time traveling dinosaur hunters.
Oh yeah. These plots often end up as like either the ending or like a supplemental movie in the show.
Yeah. Probably because Toei themselves finds it and they're like, that's funny. Let's do that for a second.
Yeah.
But let's move on to some collector merch news. The Kamen Rider Dino movie belt is getting a complete selection modification edition. I know nothing about Dino or its movie Well, I know some stuff about Dino, but I know nothing about its movie writers. So I'm just looking at this going, that's a solid belt design. Yeah.
I mean, I know. Well, at least we're getting a Imagine card for the Imagine from Heisei Forever. But I'm like, that's really noteworthy to me.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're a Dino fan, and there's lots of Dino fans out there, you'll probably be fairly excited over this. And while it is going for the usual ridiculous CSM level price, I'm sure there's people who will shell out the cash. Like I'm the first guy who will admit if they ever make they'll probably never do this, but if they ever make a CSM belt for Wizard, that's going to be like, all right, I'm taking out a loan.
Maybe when Wizard suddenly becomes loved, hopefully one day.
One day. It's starting. We're a grassroots movement at the moment, but we're gaining traction.
Yeah. Speaking of gaining traction.
Yay! Shirakura Shin-chiro, the head producer at Toei, the big Twitter man that everybody loves to pester, he did an interview with Variety, big American news publication, basically saying like, hey, we've got a lot of big anniversary and revival projects coming up, and we're making a push to make Kamen Rider popular in the West.
Yeah.
Also, really fun tidbit from this interview. basically confirmed in here without outright saying it that Toei hates Masked Rider.
Yeah, I actually made that a point, and like people were like suddenly taking notice, and I'm like, oh, so the rumors are true. Yeah, there's that basically like I'm trying to find the exact quote. That was a mistake, I think. No.
In 1995, Toei again joined forces with Saban to launch Masked Rider, an American version of the 1998 Kamen Rider Black RX TV series. Also, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, an adaptation of Kamen Rider Ryuki, series 2002 to 2003, developed in partnership with Andis Entertainment, aired on the CW network from 2008 to 2009. Quote,
hey, just did a video on that.
Quote from Shakura. We are trying to sell Kamen Rider to not only the United States, but also to the world. And like the Power Rangers shows in the past, we are doing it mostly with live action contents. Shakura also says the one exception is Futo Pai. Okay, he's basically promoting shows in this quote.
Yeah, I'm trying. There's another one. It's there's the quote. But it unfortunately got bad reviews and it was a flop. Now we're getting our payback about Masked Rider, and that's such a ballsy way to say it, and I love it. I love
it doesn't directly throw Saban under the bus. It's just like, yo, Americans, you didn't like Kamen Rider. All right, now we're gonna make you like Kamen Rider.
Yeah. Hopefully not through possible homophobic Twitter posts, but that's a whole other story.
Oh boy, I don't even know what that's referring to.
You had something about your on your Twitter bio for a while.
Oh yeah. Oh that jackass. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool little interview. Really cool to see American media taking note of Toei a little more. Maybe they requested this interview, but it seems like just kind of an out of the blue thing. And also cool that this writer for Variety, who probably doesn't care about tokusatsu at all, took this fairly seriously and wrote this up like a regular article.
Yeah. Well, it's probably one of the better articles I've seen on Toku that isn't just watch Kamen Rider Game because it's game.
Oh my god, the next Power Rangers series is about free moms being badass women. Did you hear about this? That's even Power Rangers. That's a direct to DVD special for Super Sentai. What are you doing?
Speaking of incompetence.
Incompetence?
To be fair, the Super 7, I saw the little okay, we're talking about Super 7.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Basically, this week, at the beginning of the week, Super 7 had their rollout for the first wave of their Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ultimates!
I think you blew out your mic there.
Really? I'm like all the way away from my mic, too.
Maybe you were too far away.
Well, yeah, the Super 7 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ultimates Wave 1. We got a preview image on Monday, and then I believe... no, we got that on Sunday, and then on Monday, we got the full layout of all the figures, plus an interview with the Fwoosh, which is a news and review channel for all action figure stuff that I've been following for a little over a year now and does really good content, so I made sure to link it in the news.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Super 7 burned me right off the bat. They did these, like, cheap $5, not $5, they look $5, but they were like $20. I saw them at Target.
Oh, you're talking about the Reaction line?
Oh, wait, was that a different company?
I think that's what you're talking about. Reaction is Super 7, and Reaction is pretty stinky, in my opinion. Because, okay, to explain Reaction real quick for anybody who doesn't know.
Reaction, though. Like a few episodes. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like we covered this Reaction thing previously, and I was like, that kind of gave me a bad stink of Super 7. But now,
okay, I did not remember.
It's fine. I remember too many unnecessary details. But anyway,
no, that's good. I need your young spry mind to help out my feeble memory. But yeah, we got the full look at Wave 1, and it is all Mighty Morphin. They are very clearly, this is a Mighty Morphin based line, so I don't I'm just gonna say it. if people are going to complain about this being all Mighty Morphin, they've kind of said since the beginning, this is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ultimates. It is not Power Rangers Ultimates. So we need to kind of take that as is. And as is, I think there's some pretty cool stuff in here.
I will say it's a very unique lineup for an MMPR line. Because, you got your Tommy, but you also got Goldar, a Putty, T-Rex Zord, and, like, a Yellow Ranger. You don't see that in a starting, MMPR line.
Yeah, and as we knew, just from previous Ultimate lines, from Super 7, there is a ton of accessories here and a really nice melding of original toy detailing and show accurate detailing. Like, I love the way Goldar turned out. I already have Lightning Collection Goldar, but I'm looking at this Goldar going, man, I kind of want to get that because it's a serious paint upgrade.
Yeah, I will admit the Goldar one looks really good. Although the Tommy one, of course, I got to complain about Tommy. He comes with an extra evil ranger face. I'm sorry, that looks really funny to me.
That's a bit rough. Super 7, they don't have the inkjet face printing technology to my knowledge. Like, I'm pretty sure the wrestling figures that they're coming out with don't have that. So it's basically just they do the best they can with actual paint. And they use really good factories. Like, they have really good people actually manufacturing the toys. And also another thing to keep in mind is these are CGI renders. This is not what the in-hand product is going to look like. It's going to be a little different deco-wise and just the way the actual plastic will look in 3 dimensions, you know?
I like the accessories on this. Like, I like how, especially the Yellow Ranger one, how it has both MMPR yellows and also some, like, references to, like, episodes. Like, the putties, you could transform them into both Z putties and, like, a one-off episode putty.
Yeah, the football jersey, the cowboy hat, the clown putty gear.
I just think that's really neat.
I think the thing with the putty is also like a really bold choice to say, like, hey, we could do you like Hasbro. We could do a bunch of different releases of the putty and make the Z putty its own release, but nah. First wave, done in one. Order as many as you want, and you're going to have your putties. Because that's another thing to keep in mind with Ultimates. This line is made to order. So, well, certain online retailers will order like a bunch so they have a stock for a little bit. However many get ordered is as many as will be made.
Yeah, because it seems a very collector-focused line with all the accessories.
Yeah, and I really dig how you can swap parts out. Like, you have the very show accurate, what's the word? Saber-tooth tiger daggers on the Yellow Ranger, but then you also have the ones that are just like a recreation of the original toy. And the same thing with Tommy, where you can have a show accurate dull gold shield, or you can swap it out for a Vac metal chrome one. That's very cool. And the T-Rex sword, the thing we've been skirting around with this whole reveal, I absolutely love the idea of just doing non-transforming 6-inch scale, fully articulated Megazords. That's a really cool, unique thing to put in this line to help it stand out, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I'm again, you know me, I'm not an MMPR guy, but I got to admit, this line looks pretty sick.
Because let's see here. Let me take a quick look. So this is going to be 7-inch scale. Normally, Super 7 goes between 7 and 8-inch scale, and they are all going to retail for $55 a piece.
Maybe I'll pick up one, but I'm probably not gonna collect them all because that's a bit of expensive line.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of want Goldar. I would. As much as I'm not into the individual robot modes, just to get a feel for what they do with the design, I do kind of want the T-Rex. And that's another thing I should say real quick, correct myself. Goldar and the T-Rex will be 8 inches tall. They're going to be a little taller to be in what they call Zord battle scale.
Yeah, I'm eyeing the putty at the moment.
Yeah, the putty looks very cool. I like how it has the 2 different face sculpts, the one that's kind of show accurate, and the one that's a little more animated looking.
Yeah, and also just the accessories just sell me on it, just because of how goofy the accessories are, and I just love that.
Yeah, and it is worth noting the clown collar and the football jersey are soft goods. But yeah, that's everything to say there. I'm really liking how this line is shaping up. I don't know if I'm going in on any of it. but I very much look at Goldar and look at the Tyrannosaurus sword and go like, yo, if I could find those at a con for a decent price, I would love to pick them up that way.
Yeah.
But then we move on to the latest Hasbro Power Rangers Fan First Friday took place this week. And
I watched it live as usual.
Nice. We had a whole bunch of news out of this, so I think we should just go through everything in order.
Well, the thing is, the website doesn't put the images in order, so I'm like, should we just like?
I think I remember it pretty well because they started off with Lightning Collection and they revealed Wave 10, which had the names leak out a few days or weeks before via, I think it was Amazon listings. But now we got full reveals with pictures and everything. And the first figure is Riley, Dino Charge Green, who looks about as good as can be expected. It's the same mold they've used for the other male Dino Charge Rangers.
Oh god, I just realized that. Like I thought you meant for the face. For the face.
No, that is a unique face sculpt, but it's not entirely accurate to Michael Tabar. It's a little cartoonified, I'd say.
Yeah, because it just looks like a repainted Chase face to me.
I could see that, yeah, but like Chase's hair is a little more shorter, cut a little closer to the scalp.
Yeah, but either way, I'm happy. Riley's one of my favorite Dino Charge Rangers, and I like that suit, so maybe I'll pick this up. I will say right off the bat that, like, before getting to the other lines, this is probably the most interested I've been in the Lightning line in a long while.
Yeah, I love that they painted his belt buckle. They forgot to do that with one of them. I forget who. Didn't paint the bracers though, which is a little annoying. But that is one of those things where I'm like, okay, it's annoying that they didn't do it because they did it on one figure, but like you can get a chrome pen off of Amazon and fix that yourself. Like kind of like with Pumpkin Rapper. Like, yeah, sucks they didn't color in his eyes, but everybody owns a Sharpie.
I guess.
But then the next figure revealed, I believe, was the Zeo Yellow Ranger.
Actually, that was the last one, but okay.
Oh, was that after DB?
Yeah, that was after the in space figures. though.
Okay, so let's do the in space figures first then. So bit of a teaser for people who didn't watch this, I guess. In Space Pink Ranger, I really like how she turned out.
Same. Yeah, it was really nice. Like I feel, is In Space completed now, or?
In Space is completed with the exception of the 6th Ranger. We do not have Zane yet.
Okay, I feel like Zane's close. Very close.
The only thing I could possibly complain about with her is something that Living Ranger Key pointed out. She doesn't have the white stripes on her upper arms painted. And that is a detail that I think would be kind of hard for anybody who doesn't do customizing as a regular hobby to add. So
yeah,
I really hope that's something Hasbro can fix on the production end before these get shipped out, but who knows?
I mean, like, to be fair, Josh does a lot of customizing, so I think he's more like, I mean, I'm not saying, like, to excuse the multi-million-dollar company, but, you know, Josh will notice these details a lot more, because that's kind of his hobby and job.
Mm-hmm. But another cool thing to say about her is she's getting a unique effect piece for her satellite stunner, and it looks pretty spiffy.
I have used, like, from the effect pieces I have, I don't like them, but, like, hey, maybe this one will work.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get, is a lot of people don't care about the effects pieces. It's really just us weirdos who do figure photography all the time who like the effects pieces.
I tried to do the effects pieces, but they're just so flimsy, and I have no idea how you use.
Well, which ones do you have again?
Only gold.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Doesn't he have, like, a lightning effect that you're supposed to just, like, strap onto his sword?
Yeah, and it doesn't really work that well.
Yeah, that lightning effect. We're getting that same effect, I think, with Riley, just in green. That is one of the suckier effects in the Lightning collection.
So I just got a bad deal. Gotcha.
Yeah. But then we got probably the reveal that got everyone the most hype out of this stream.
Myself included.
In Space Phantom Ranger, completely new sculpt, only one reused part, and that's the blast effect. Absolutely love the way this thing turns out. It's got all the paint detail that you could possibly need. The only thing it's really missing is something that I can't even fault Hasbro for, because it's something that no matter what, we'd have to go through a third party company to get. somebody please 3D print me up a Database Ranger head sculpt.
Yeah, so it's finally nice that like Hasbro's acknowledging power reviews. That's great.
Yeah, that beloved niche Power Rangers series, Power Reviews, is finally getting its due in the Lightning Collection.
Yeah.
Now all I need is a Dr. K to go next to it.
Yeah. Jokes aside, I kind of find it weird how they label this as in space, because this Phantom Ranger originated both in the Sentai and Rangers in Turbo. Do they just not want to acknowledge Turbo exists? Do they just have no plans for Turbo in the Lightning line?
That's the thing, is I think it's partially them trying to skirt around Turbo for as long as they can, because they know Turbo is a largely reviled season by the more nostalgia-driven fan base. But also, that blast effect that you strap onto his chest, dude got shot at a lot in space. So I kind of love how Database himself was on Twitter like, oh yeah, it comes with a blast effect of him getting shot because it's the in-space version. We're going to get the Turbo version later.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually cute. Of course he...
It is worth noting that he also comes with a blast effect for his what they call his Phantom Laser, but is the Turbo Navigator and Gun mode. And that blast effect can also plug into his chest to do the Power Ruby blast, which is really cool.
Nice.
But then to circle back around, we got the reveal of Tanya, Zeo Ranger Yellow, and I really like the way she turned out. She looks really great. Probably the best civilian head sculpt of this wave, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Phantom would have had a good head sculpt if they did one.
Yeah, and this also does complete the Zeo Rangers, so that's great. More team completion coming to the Lightning Collection.
Yeah, we're currently... I think this is this wave marks the only time a non-MMPR team have been completed too. Like the first two like non-MMPR teams have been completed now.
Yeah, it's really, really nice to see that starting to come together. And
I still wish they did a bit more focused more on variety than team completion right off the bat. But hey,
well, well, and this is an argument I think we're gonna have throughout the discussion of this stream. But like I argue, like, they did a lot of variety right off the bat, so they could get a lot of molds built up and then do team completion as they went on. And I think, because that's something else they mentioned during the stream, they're getting close to figure 100. I feel like once we cross that benchmark and get a couple more teams completed, we're going to see a lot more new molds popping out so they can start some more teams.
Okay. Well, should we talk about the figure 100 teas?
Well, it's not a figure 100 tease, it's just a general tease, but yeah, we're definitely getting Ninjetti figures in this line.
Yay! So excited.
I mean, this is probably the first time I've seen a reveal that well, not the first time. There was those cell-shaded figures and the
oh yeah.
What was the other thing? The metallic armor. I was iffy on the metallic armor, but ultimately passed, and then the cell shade, I was outright no. This is another, like, if I could find this on discount, I guess, but, like, Ninjetti is not a look I've ever super cared for.
Especially because, like, I'm starting to get a little, possibly controversial, but, the Tommy Ninjetti looks, kind of uncomfortable to real world. That's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say what he looks like, but if you know the world, you know.
Though, to be honest, I've never seen that comparison until this tease. Like, I saw people making that joke left and right on Twitter right after this tease, but I'd never seen anyone say that before.
Okay, so I mean, to be fair, like, we really didn't have any reason to say it, but that's besides the point.
But, I don't know, from the silhouette, the sculpt looks solid, so it'll probably be a decent action figure, if anything. And, like, the other thing is, because, like, here's the thing. You approach it, I've kind of realized, Buster, you approach Toy News very much from somebody who cares about the show and the brand as a whole. I approach it from, like, somebody who really thinks about, like, how toy lines are made, and I have all this accumulated knowledge from fucking stalking Hasbro for the better part of 2 decades. But, like, it's a new mold that is going to be getting into the line, which is great. More shows willingness to branch out more, and also, yes, it's another MMPR team, but it's another MMPR team that they're going to do over the course of probably a few waves. MMPR always sells. Maybe we're not the ones that always buy it, but there's people who will always buy MMPR. So that's gonna fund future waves of this line if people buy the Ninjetti figures.
I think, like, my theory about the Ninjetti, I think they're gonna do like a A-team kind of thing, where it's like, here's all of them at once. At least that's what I hope.
That'd be nice. An Amazon exclusive, what would that be, a 6-pack?
Yeah, maybe a 5-pack if they don't want to go with the white. I'm sorry for keep making that joke, but
you're not even making the joke, you're just going like, oh god, the joke's there.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the final Lightning Collection reveal, which is iGuy, and not Monsters Wave 2 iGuy, just iGuy, because Living Ranger Key pointed out. I finally really took notice of Living Ranger Key this week. That's why I've been referencing him a bunch. But I watched his episode of Lightning Storm on this stream, and he pointed out that the code on the back of iGuy's box is different than the code for Monsters Wave 1. Which means that the Monsters line is probably dead, and they just salvaged this figure because it was far enough along.
Gee, I didn't know making a line of, like, mostly unremarkable monsters would not sell well. Who would have thought?
Well, see, it's crazy to me because, like, I saw a lot of non-Power Rangers fans getting excited about the Monsters line, going like, oh, I can shove this in with these other collections I have. That pumpkin-headed guy looks awesome. But
okay, fair.
To be fair, I have seen it shelf warm quite a bit. The number one Lightning Collection thing I've seen in the last year when I go into stores is the Monsters figures.
Same.
Usually King Sphinx. King Sphinx tends to sit on shelves, I find.
Yeah, I go to like a Target frequently, and all I see is pumpkin wrapper when I look at the Lightning Collection section.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I'm still someone who looks at those figures. I haven't actually opened mine. I have King Sphinx and Pumpkin Wrapper. I just haven't opened them. They're in the review queue though.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, like, are they in review queue?
But like, I look at them and I go like, these look like fairly solid figures. I get why I've seen all the complaints. I understand why people didn't like them, but I'm like, given the budget and given what they set out to do, I feel like they accomplished everything fairly fine. So I gotta wonder, like, all the different combinations of reasons why they didn't sell. And clearly now the Monsters line is dead because we had gotten leaks way back when. I think this was like summer of last year that Monsters Wave 2 was going to be iGuy and Pirantis Head. Here's iGuy without Pirantis Head, and he also looks like people complained about the deco on Monsters Wave 1. iGuy looks like he had his deco reduced just to get him out the door because some of his eyeballs aren't painted. He's only got shading on his gloves and his head, which is weird. And they did make a point of saying he's painted on the back, but it looks like just his back is painted.
Yeah, it looks a very cheap figure. Probably the cheapest Lightning one I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it really feels like they just went, look, this is foreign. I know we're not doing this line anymore, but this is almost done. Can we just get it out the door to say we got it out the door? That's what it feels like to me. But to give my actual opinion of the reveal, I do like how it looks. I think it's a fairly good interpretation of iGuy. I'm always impressed with how much articulation they can get into some of the monster designs. So I probably will pick him up eventually. He's not a must get for me, but he's a probably at some point. And then that was it for the Lightning Collection, aside from the tease, which was a bit odd in my opinion. I was expecting them to show the Ecliptor and Astronema 2-pack, but maybe they're holding that back for the two events they teased during this live stream, which is Power Month, which will be coming in August. We're supposed to get a bunch of not Lightning Collection, but Power Ranger toy reveals in general in August.
And like franchise news, apparently.
Yeah. And then in September, Hasbro PulseCon will be taking place again, which we can expect a lot of Lightning Collection reveals out of, given that we got 9 new figures out of PulseCon last year.
Actually, there's 2 other product reveals before we go into Dino Fury. There's this White Ranger car, which, hey, it looks like the car they did for the Green Ranger, which I see occasionally shelf warming.
That looks like a car.
Yeah. And then the one that kind of scars me, Tiger Electronics. Apparently, this is part of the Lightning Collection. Because they
Is
have the like,
it?
yeah, they have the. If you look at the picture, there's a Lightning Collection logo on it.
There is. What the hell? Is this like a recreation of a Tiger Electronics game from the 90s?
Yes, they've been doing this. Like, okay, like if you are like, I don't know, you've watched Scott the Woods, you probably know that there's been a resurgence in like weird '90s gaming peripheral at like WalMarts and Targets. This is one of them. This isn't just a Power Rangers only thing. They've been doing this for a while, and I don't like this because it's just nobody liked these games in the first place. They should have stayed where they belong. Like,
I wonder if it's maybe because if they've been making them for a while, there's clearly a market for it. So I wonder if it's like
unfortunately.
I wonder if it's very much the people who are actually into video games don't like these, but Joe Schmo walking down the electronics aisle sees this and goes, I had one of those when I was a kid. I'm gonna get this, play it for 10 minutes, and then let it collect dust on my desk.
Yeah, I guess they're okay collector's items, but like they're $15. There's like a ton of Steam games you can get for less than that are way higher quality. So
Oh, definitely.
I'm just
Um,
like they should have stayed where they belong. I'm sorry, I don't not like these. Especially like watching like Cat Icarus, he did like he took a look at some of the Crash Bandicoot ones, and oh boy, these guys really haven't aged well.
all right, let's get into the Dino Fury toy news,
Yeah,
shall we?
sorry about my the
Oh,
rant
it's
about that.
perfectly appropriate. You're allowed. Um,
Yeah.
but
Can we start with the figures?
yeah, let's start with the figures because I believe the first thing they showed is that we are getting figures for Dino Fury Gold and
Void Knight.
yeah, his name just dropped out of my head for some reason. But Void Knight and Void Knight will have Ranger level articulation. He's not going to have the restrictions that monster
Hooray!
characters usually have.
That's a legit hooray because I'm happy because I like Void Knight a lot.
Yeah. Um, Void Knight's a great suit, so cool to see him getting a figure, and he's a great villain. But then we had the kind of grown moment, which is there's going to be a Amazon exclusive Power Rangers. I believe it's a 6-pack. Is it?
5-pack.
Okay, it's a 5-pack of the main 5 Rangers plus a role play toy of the belt buckle, and they didn't explicitly say this, but it looks like for the moment at least, gold and black, or not gold and black, green and black are going to be exclusive to the 5-pack.
Okay, so to clarify, so you know in the mind space when I was in this news to make me even more pissed than I normally would be, I just found red and blue at Target,
Mm-hmm.
and I completed like I have pink, red, blue figures. We'll talk about them like towards the end of the show.
Yeah,
This made me really pissed.
I can imagine. Like I looked at this and I was like, oh, that's some bullshit.
It
Like
really
I'm
is.
not even collecting the main line, and I look at this and I go, that is bullshit. That's screwing over some people.
Yeah, me. I apparently black and green will be released single packs towards the like next year, but like still, why?
That's a hell of a wait. And like also, didn't they do this once before with the Psychos?
Yes, they actually on the Lightning Collection Psychos, they kind of did. They are like, okay, here's blue and red. Get everyone else in this 5-pack.
Yeah. Like that is some scummy marketing in my opinion. Like I don't mind like the kind of stuff the Marvel Legends team will do where it's like, okay, in the main wave, here's the modern version of this character. And then we're going to use that buck later to do a classic version of them. I don't mind that kind of jiggery pokery with releases, but this kind of thing really grinds me. I'm not super proud of my Hasbro overlords at the moment.
Uh-huh.
Um, but then we got to look at the Zord toys. And
Can I say
go
something?
off, go
Okay.
off.
All right. Now these are great looking Zords. These are great looking Zords. Problem, I do not like the way they're packaged. Now I get splitting them up, but the way they split them up, I don't like. Cause in Real Soldier, green and blue help red form both the Megazord, the first Megazord, and the tank. Why in the packaging like are we doing gender duos? Why is blue and black there when in toy compatibility blue and pink would be the better one? I guess it's like
It's a weird
girls.
choice. It's definitely a weird choice, but then like also getting into the packaging, I'm not super a fan of the way the window boxes are laid out. Like I don't know if they said that's final product, but like the massive amounts of white space in there just makes it look cheap to me.
Yeah, I could see that. I guess I don't know. I could see that. Although, like, I think it's like because they're very detailed Zords, they want to like keep them more safe than normal. Or so they use like white packaging instead of the crystal clear ones they use on the figures.
I mean, here's hoping that these are great Zord toys and they go off well, but like it's weird that we're only just now seeing them when we're halfway through the season, and it's kind of weird the way they're packaging them. Yeah, about the biggest highlight for this stream though for me was we got to see gray prototypes of the Gold Ranger Zord and how that's coming along, and that is just that's the kind of stuff that gets me going as a toy collector. Whenever a company will show off early prototypes, even if it's long after a toy's been released, and especially Hasbro, because Hasbro's been kind of tight-lipped about this stuff for the last few years. The last time I can remember seeing a gray prototype from Hasbro was some unreleased Transformers animated toys. So to see this was really exciting to me.
Yeah, actually, I remember they showed like gray prototypes for like one of the Fan First Fridays, way before the final Zords were shown. Like, I maybe you just missed that. Who knows? But yeah, I'm happy that we're seemingly getting a complete Megazord toy line for once from Hasbro instead of because Beast Morphers, they kind of like we had one more Zord to go. They didn't release that Zord, even though they had a bunch of Zord related merch towards it. It was really weird.
That was weird.
So like it seems like now we're getting a complete Megazord line, even if it's coming out like super late. Watch, the show will be like 5 months, so we'll be on like whatever season 30 is going to be called by the time these come out.
Yeah, but at least they'll come out.
Yeah. Also, yeah, that was the Fan First Friday.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good Fan First Friday, honestly, because we got a lot of reveals both for the main line and the Lightning Collection, and some kind of dumb side stuff. But you know, that's about all you can ask for from Hasbro at the end of the day is just show us a little bit of everything. Give me the big poo poo platter, please.
Yeah, I want to like speed up the rest of it because we've kind of been going for a long time.
Yeah, Fan First Friday really dragged us down, but we had a lot to say. So Zenkaiger, there is going to be a upgrade coming to the show. Next week. Kind of crazy how all this news just now dropped. Especially because I can remember back to the days of like being 2 episodes into Ninja, and then all of a sudden magazine scans show us everything about Star Ninja.
Yeah, I mean Star Ninja did show up way earlier than like. I mean, I know like Kaiser showed up early, but like. Still.
Yeah, he was kind of the beginning of 6 showing up at like episode 12.
Yeah.
We are getting Super Zenkaiger and I'm trying to look at the name.
ZenKaijuOh.
Yeah. Does Super 2 Kaiser have a unique name?
Super 2 Kai Robot. No, that's one of his like gimmicks. It's ZenKaijuOh and it's Super 2 Kai Robo SD, I think it's called.
Okay.
Which is a pretty complicated but really cool name.
Yeah, basically, there's going to be a new SD boy hanging out with 2 Kaiser, and basically, what if you know that mix this Pokemon with that Pokemon website? They did that to the Dragon Zord and frickin' Q-Rex.
I like that.
Or V-Rex and Dragon Caesar, if we're going with Sentai names, which we are. I
already like the suits, but like, wait, what do you think?
I'm not super jazzed about this, to be honest. I don't hate it. I'm sure the show will handle it well, but I look at it and I just go like, wow, somebody actually found a way to make one of the clunkiest looking Sentai Robos of all time look even more clunky.
I like clunky stuff, so give me all the clunk.
Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, the Super 2 Kaiser suit does look awesome. It has that kind of big. It has chunk. It doesn't have clunk. There's a difference.
Okay.
But
I'm more concerned about another Zyuranger rep in the line because we already have it's like Zyuran's already a Zyuranger rep. So
yeah.
I'm like, really another? I guess because they wanted to do Q-Rex. But like,
yeah, I think the Toku Lectables guy pointed that out on Twitter. And he was like, they could have done Q-Ranger because Q-Ranger had that mini dino weapon. Or not Q-Ranger, goddammit, Kyuryuger.
Yeah, like
but
I guess maybe they just don't want to do something too recent, even though Kyoryuger is one of the most successful modern Sentai.
mhm. And I mean, like, I totally agree with him, but also ever since he pointed that out, I'm like, oh, they were probably working on this. It was probably just gonna be V-Rex, and then Hasbro came along and just went like, yo, I see you throwing in some MMPR. You want to throw in a little more MMPR? We might adapt
Yeah.
this next.
That's what makes me concerned about this power up, despite how cool it looks. But we'll cross that bridge when we maybe get to it.
Mm-hmm. But no, it looks okay, I'll say, from these preview images. And we're going to know more about it next week. And let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, which I purely just put on here because Boingo Rider demanded it. Clifford the Big Red Dog is getting a live action movie.
Interesting. I like watching Clifford. He's a cool guy. And look, he's a fun guy.
I watched this trailer the morning it came out, and I went, oh, that looks cute. Reminds me of stuff I used to go to with my parents when I was like 10. And then later in the day, I showed it to my mom, and she basically said the same thing.
Yeah. Like, honestly, between this and the Tom and Jerry movie that came out this year, it really does feel like all those like fun live action adaptations. Maybe not quote unquote fun. I mean, good. Those like 2000s live action adaptations, like your Cat in the Hats, your Grinches, whatever else I can think of. Like they're kind of coming back, but like more modernized and even better, quote unquote.
I feel like it's very much a thing of like our childhoods are starting to just dip their toes into the nostalgia vogue.
Yeah.
Because 90s has been getting big in the last 5 years. 80, I don't know when the hell 80s is ever going to go away because it's been in vogue for like 15 years now.
Yeah, it just seems like 80s is just immortal, and I kind of hate that.
It's gonna be it's just gonna be an aesthetic in the default aesthetic menu forever, I think. But
yeah, especially like that new He-Man show. But
90s has been coming into vogue, and it seems like 2000s is well on the way as well. And this is something to reference another podcast I listened to, the Major Wrestling Figure Collecting Podcast. They've talked about a lot in their last few episodes how there's basically this theory of there is a 30-year cycle for nostalgia of like once something starts to get close to or hits 30 years, that's when it becomes nostalgic enough that you can make new versions of it and nostalgia merch for it, and it will sell really well. And then the pandemic kind of accelerated that for a lot of people. Like that's why you see a lot of people buying trading cards now, and action figures have been harder to find than ever. A lot of people are getting nostalgic a lot faster than they used to.
I can speak for that. I'm already nostalgic for Bakugan and Beyblade, even though like the old, not the like the old versions of those, but like the semi newer. Like, it's hard to explain.
See, that's funny to me because Bakugan is one of the first things that, like, when I was a teenager, I looked at and went, "That's a little too new for me. That's a thing for kids that are younger than me."
And that was me.
But no, the movie looks fun. I know there were some people who were a little butthurt over them making Clifford look realistic, but like, have you seen any live action movie in the last 20 years?
He looks better than the original Sonic design.
Mm-hmm. He looks better than some of the original Bayformers.
Yes, oh god. I could go on a whole rant about how I hate Bayformer aesthetics, but that's not today.
Let's move on to some Ultraman news. FreeZero, a toy company that has done very little tokusatsu stuff in their past, but seems to be caught up in the hype for Shin Ultraman, has revealed that they are doing a first figure in a new line, FigZero, 6-inch scale Shin Ultraman.
I feel like every other week we get a new Shin Ultraman figure, and I'm totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Subaraya is really trying to push it. Like I feel like they're looking at this movie as like, okay, it's going to be a watershed moment for Ultraman. This is going to be the moment when everybody gets on the bandwagon.
Or better or worse, because if some of those weird reactions to Shin Godzilla are any indication, I'm not looking forward to the weird reactions of Shin Ultraman.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to reading everybody's review of it.
Same.
No, this figure looks fairly solid. It can get a little gappy. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the inner thighs. but looks like it has fairly solid articulation and paint. The only thing I could really complain about detailing wise is it looks like the wrist joints have absolutely no paint on them, so they kind of stand out.
Yeah, that's fine. Maybe not the one I would go for, but it's a fine option.
Yeah, it looks fairly solid, and if you wanna check this out, maybe pick it up along with all of the other import figures of Shin Ultraman that have been announced. Pre-orders are already live for it, so definitely go take a look at your favorite import sites.
Yeah.
But keeping on with toys and Ultraman, let's talk about the fact that Ultraman Trigger hasn't even started yet, and there's already a P Bandai release announced.
Dang it. And remember how everyone said, "Oh, finally, Trigger isn't using old Ultras." Psych.
Here's old Ultras, and they're in shiny little capsules with stained glass designs on them that admittedly look really cool.
I mean, it kind of does play into the whole Ultraman is Jesus stuff.
No, it looks these look fairly solid. I mean, if you're gonna get the what is it, the trigger spark or something like that. Whatever his henshin device is, if you're gonna get that, you'll probably want to get these as well, just to add to the collection. And they look fine. They look like more gimmick items. It says in the pictures what they say, but I can't read kanji.
Yeah.
And then our final piece of news this week is that we have gotten a poster and a trailer for Daikaiju no Ato Shimatsu, is how I'm going to say you pronounce that, which is a new independent tokusatsu product. And by independent, I mean independent from any franchise. This is actually made by Toei, and it's going to be a short film about two characters dealing with the aftermath of a kaiju attack. One character is in the cleanup team, and another character, I believe, is a friend of theirs or like a reporter or something. And we get very little information from the trailer and a little peek at the suit design as well as on the poster. And it looks fairly solid. I'm tentatively interested in this, I'll say.
Same. I'm actually really interested because we're actually some Tokusatsu alumni are working on this. Some people are working on the Heisei Millennium Godzilla films. Yeah.
It seems like it'll be a neat side project, if anything.
Yeah.
And it is set for release in 2022 right now.
Which is closer than I think. So
yeah, we're actually a little over halfway the year right now, which is crazy to think about, but that's just the way it be.
Yeah. Speaking of the way it be, Kikai sent. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to wrap up?
No. Let's go ahead and barrel into new releases because we're already.
Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, episode 18. Life is short, so fall in love.
This episode was fucking amazing.
It really was. It was we'll get to the moment. Twitter's having an uproar for better or worse about it soon. But even besides that moment, this was.
Yeah, this episode was just straight comedy, and I loved it because it was basically how in Western cartoons there's always one or two jokes every once in a while that are clearly for the parents watching the show more so than they are for the kid watching the show.
I mean, that's half of my catalog is Western cartoons, so I kind of know that, but I'd say that's a bit inaccurate. But go ahead, go on.
Well, my point was this whole episode was that.
Yeah. Just goofiness. I don't even think it was much adult. It was just goofiness. Ha ha. Just look at all the silly slapstick and all these witty puns.
Well, it's because they're playing around with different kinds of romance and all these different romantic storyline archetypes that only older viewers would really understand unless you've just got super media literate kids watching.
Believe me, I am the media literate kid when I was a kid. But anyway, for better or worse. But yeah, actually, when I bring it up, this episode really walks the balance of I still see kids laughing their they may not understand all the archetypes or references, but I can still see them laughing at all. Well,
just the mere fact that Gaon and Jureng go from being bitter rivals to being completely in love with each other would probably make some kids giggle.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. Lots of I think we should rename this episode Bisexual Panic.
Yeah, because like there is literally a moment there's so many moments in this episode that I took screen caps of because they're just like hilarious little quotes and things. But there's a moment where Majin and Flint start falling in love, and like oh, what's its name? The parrot?
Yeah, like Kachan.
Yeah, Kachan flies up to them and goes, "Easy there, this is a kid's show."
Yeah, he literally just breaks the fourth wall saying, "Don't get like too in love."
Because they look like they're about to kiss in that screenshot I took.
Yeah, it really does. And then there's like, oh, the roll call. Can we talk about the roll call?
The roll call is amazing because
they're like everyone is heartbroken.
Yeah, all these different types of love, and then at the end of the roll call, it just turns into Evangelion for a second.
I really like Majid's and Flint's roll call. Flint gets a roll call. That's pretty fun. Where it's like almost broken up. We're verge on breaking up. That was great. And just
they're in
like love is over.
Where they're just trying to keep it afloat, but they know it's going to end inevitably. Oh my god!
And then I love when it's just like love is over, and then cuts to commercial.
And Vroom's whole storyline throughout the episode is adorable. I love how they swerved us because you see. Oh my god, it just now hit me. Kaito's childhood friend is literally a Karen.
Yeah, I get. I was really when I saw that, like when I was watching the episode, I was like, how has nobody made like 50 memes about this? Because
there's so much other memeable shit in this episode.
It is.
But no, she shows up and you think like, oh yeah, the monster is a love monster, so it's going to be Kaito dealing with unresolved feelings for his childhood friend, and then nope, it's Vroom and her getting together.
Yeah, and Vroom has like a really nice like story. It's just like where it's like at first he's like, love is interesting. It's like, love is wonderful. And then he's like, love sucks. But I was like, yeah, love is a complicated thing.
Yeah. I also love that he has his own little sign in the library. Like that's a great thing the show is like very subtly done throughout its run. It's just like very like incrementally building up the fact that like, yeah, the Zenkaigers are kind of public figures and celebrities in this series.
Yeah, we even see it in this episode with like Karen saying, "Oh, you're a Zenkaiger. That's neat."
And then Vroom's got his sign in a library, which I'm looking at right now. Vroom reads books too, and then there's a little word bubble. These books are so good, they'll have your engine in overdrive.
Yeah, that's great. Like he just has his own like recommendation section just to help the kids learn. Honestly, that should just be a hyper battle special at that point. Yeah, I would watch
just story time with Vroom. The monsters never even show up. He just sits in a library and reads to children for 20 minutes.
Greatest episode ever. Speaking of the greatest episode ever, then we get to the Jetman gear. So,
yeah, that's the other thing that has me going like, oh, this is mainly for older fans, is like, there's a shot-for-shot remake of the last scene of Jetman in this episode, and that's how they beat the villain.
Yeah, and it's like, like, okay, I'm gonna go in a little, there's a lot to say. So, first off, the fact that, like, this staff really does love Sentai when you get down to it, because like, the previous gears, they've been fun power-ups, cute references, bringing props from the Toei Vault. This one, they're like, no, we love Jetman, we like this moment, people have memed this, keyword, people have already memed this. Okay,
this is an iconic moment in Sentai history. Like, the thing is, for historical perspective, Jetman was already one of the most popular Sentais ever before it ended, and then this moment happened and like cemented it in Japanese pop culture.
Yeah, I mean, like the Featherman from Persona should like show you that Jetman is one of the most popular Sentai. But like the thing, okay, well, I'm gonna get to what I was complaining about. People have said this is an insult to Jetman. No, in fact, it's a love letter.
No, this is Toei themselves going like, yo, this is a really fucked up thing we did. Let's just poke fun at it and thusly ourselves.
Yeah, like, this is, like, basically, like, it is... And besides, like they didn't have to do this. The other Sentai power-ups were just, like, props or, like, just cute catchphrases. This is, like, a shot-for-shot remake of one of the most iconic and memed scenes in Sentai history. Like, if that doesn't show they love Sentai, like, I don't know what does.
Because, like, a lot of people just know that Black Condor dies at the end of Jetman, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who haven't actually watched Jetman or read plot synopsises of it. But like the thing is, Black Condor in the penultimate episode of Jetman is set up to marry Pink Swan, and then they swerve you in the last episode by having her marry Red Falcon, and him like it's years later is the last episode, and the joke is that like, oh, somehow they resolved everything and he's just fine with it. He's going to his best friend's wedding, even though he hated Red Falcon for most of the show, and he's late. And then he just gets stabbed and dies alone on a park bench, and none of the Jetmen even realize it at the time.
The bench. Oh my God.
Like, and that's the other thing.
Scary top on this scene.
It's the first Inoue. It's the first Toei made Inoue show too. So like, this is the first instance of him doing fucked up shit in Tokusatsu.
Actually, I was just gonna say this episode does feel like a comedic love letter to Inoue. I mean, it's like there's a scene in the middle with Room and it's like when everyone starts like kind of breaking up with each other, like the girl just pushes Room into the water, and I was like, oh, this is
so
totally
bad for that suit actor. I felt so bad for that suit actor.
Same. It really does feel like let's poke fun of Inoue's like weird fascination with love stories and the way he does them. So.
Yeah. No, this episode was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. Like, Zenkaiger has not missed yet. We're on episode 18, and like, every episode that's been good has been amazing, and every episode that's been bad, relatively speaking, has just been okay.
Yeah. I mean, really, this has been a lot of, like, I don't think I've enjoyed Sentai this much since Go On Here, I think? Like,
wow.
It's been a while. I mean, I still enjoy Sentai, don't get me wrong. And all of those, like, Sentai is never good or something.
I mean, like, if we're going to talk about old Sentai, I do feel I am contractually obligated to mention really quick, there was a very cool Zenkaiju homage in this episode.
Oh, yeah, with the whole finale, final shot, like, on the Gokai Galleon.
Yeah.
Such a good episode. I could probably go off for hours, but I think we went on long enough.
Yeah, fantastic episode of Zenkaiger this week, and that about brings us to the end of the episode, but as you mentioned earlier, you got some toys this week, so why don't you go and ramble about those for a few minutes?
Yeah, actually, so I do want to talk about these. So I finally found Red and Blue Dino Fury at Target. We'll start with Red, because I have a lot more to say about Blue. Red is probably my favorite figure I've owned line so far. Like, he has a sword. It's not the Ryusou Ken, but it's still a pretty neat sword. The grip could be better, but still, it's good. The articulation on him is really nice. I really like his articulation, and he's very painted well. I like the suit already, so I'm happy with this.
Dick.
Blue, however, this is where things start to get a bit dicey. Blue also has good articulation. I like his weapon. Actually, I put the standby, the keys that they come with actually have different standby sounds that are not used in the show. Blue standby sound is really good. I really need to upload that clip to Twitter about me like messing with the standby sounds, just taking forever to upload. And the lance weapons are neat. Problem is comes in the helmet. You probably already seen this. So no, usually the Ryu Soldiers or Dino Fury Rangers, they have a little like space in between the metal so they have like a metal head. And like there's usually a space in between the helmet. The helmet is fully covered with metal or like steel, whatever.
That's
the silver.
Interesting.
And the worst part is on the back of the box they show a prototype picture which is not covered in steel.
Oh.
It's still a good figure. I still think it looks good, but I don't like that.
Yeah, that's kind of sucky. It always sucks when prototypes have more paint than the actual product.
Yeah. So I would just paint just a weird like placement. But yeah, I'd still recommend picking these figures up, especially if you want to support the current show. I'm not gonna get Boom Tower, honestly, just I don't care for that character, so
yeah. It also looks like an incredibly limited figure.
Yeah, it does look better than I initially thought from like the packaging, but like I don't mess with that. I am very interested in a possible Sliver figure, please. That would be great. I would buy that, like 10 of them. But yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. So, Buster, why don't you go ahead and tell the good people who you are and where they can find your stuff?
oh god, gotta make this quick. Sup, I'm Buster Corp. I do video essays on the internet. I did a video on Owl House and Spider-Man 2002 because there's not enough Spider-Man 2002 videos on the internet. Yeah, that's all I
Where
got.
can they find your content?
Oh yeah, the Buster Corp YouTube channel.
Excellent. Well, everyone, I am the Vacuuminator. I'm a toy reviewer here on YouTube. I make all kinds of videos and things about all kinds of properties and things. My latest review at the time of you listening to this will be of the WWE Elite Collection, Royal Rumble, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and WrestleMania China from the 2021 waves. But coming tomorrow, as of this podcast release, I will be taking a look at the Marvel Legends 80 Years Hulk and First Appearance Wolverine 2-pack. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/The Vacuuminator, which is spelled THEVACUUMINATOR. And join me on Twitter. I'm at The Vacuuminator. I talk about anything and everything that catches my interest. So go ahead and follow me there. And I also post action figure photography to Instagram.com/the_Vacuuminator. But before you go and check out any of those links, please do me a big favor. Follow this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. Head over to our YouTube channel and show us some support by giving a like to the video, commenting on it, and subscribing to the Modular Media YouTube channel and ringing that bell to enable notifications so that you get every Modular Media podcast as they release. And follow us on Twitter at the Modular Media for all kinds of updates and things on whatever we're doing, and join our subreddit r/Modular Media for the same reason. Don't forget, you can call into the show by going to anchor.fm/this-week-in Toku and clicking on the message button. Still no messages for the show as of this episode, but I am keeping my eye out. I am very eager to hear any questions or comments you folks have to call in with, so please do that. And if you do, they will be played on the next episode of the show. But until that happens, I will see you next week in Toku.